Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Wendy Chen. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, in California of the United States, a large-scale free clinic is held in Fresno to help those without medical insurance. We meet the owners of a tile factory in Taiwan to see how they bring their business back to life by introducing eco-friendly products. And in Malaysia, city volunteers in Kuala Lumpur and Selangor provide timely assistance to a troubled family. First up in Taiwan, as students and teachers from Tzu Chi University, Tzu Chi College of Technology, Tzu Chi Middle and Elementary School will be putting on the sign language musical of the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents at Hualien's Jingsi Hall at the end of this month. We join them at their final rehearsal session.
Following along with the music, these onstage volunteers are practicing their moves for the upcoming performance. Participating in this performance are the teachers and students of Tzu Chi University and Tzu Chi College of Technology.
Through this performance, we can reflect on if we are actualizing filial piety or if we have been neglecting our parents. If we haven't given our parents a call in a while, perhaps ring home and see how our parents are doing.
Originally from Xiamen, China, Wei Liwen, a student at Tzu Chi's College of Technology, is using this opportunity to urge audience members to practice filial piety.
Previously, I was always an audience member. This time, as an onstage volunteer, the feeling is different. I really want to use my feeling of missing my parents and turn it into a force to influence others to not wait to act upon filial piety.
Our parents love us, so in that aspect, we need to understand all their intentions stem from the heart and not to annoy us.
With the performance only a week away, the onstage volunteers and directors all gather in Hualien during the weekend for dress rehearsals.
I think the Sutra of Profound Gratitude to Parents is something everyone should participate in or watch, as my own participation in the Sutra has changed my life. I hope when other volunteers perform, it will also help their own families' relationships and they will come to value their own life's worth.
These onstage volunteers practice tirelessly again and again, all hoping to put on the best performance possible of the musical adaptation and inspire audience members to change their lives for the better.
Moving to the United States, in Fresno of Central California, Tzu Chi volunteers and team members work with medical staff from a local hospital and organizations to hold a two-day large-scale free clinic in the sports stadium inside Sunnyside High School. The free clinic provided medical treatment in 6 different departments and served over 2,600 patients. With her #1 ticket in hand, Irene Cadera happily sits on the dental chair waiting for her treatment. As it has been many years since her last visits to the dentist, thus giving up a little of her sleeping time to get to the free clinic is worthwhile.
We don't have insurance, we don't have Medi-Cal anymore, and I needed dental work, so I heard about this and I go, you know what, I have to go. So we came at 3:30 in the morning. #1, I couldn't believe it.
This is the first free clinic in the nation that the U.S. Tzu Chi Medical Mission is coordinating. And in addition to team members, medical staff from the Kaiser Permanent Hospital, as well as the flying doctors, are also taking part. Apart from his meal times, Dr. Richard First spends all his time treating patients.
Tzu Chi is like the spirit of Tzu Chi. It's an orchard. All I have to do is walk in the orchard and pick the fruit. But I have to do the work of picking the fruit. And so I've done the work of picking the fruit, but I've enjoyed the bounty of it. And so while I'm tired, I'm joyful.
At the free clinic, medical staff busily serve their patients, while volunteers young and old are all stationed in different areas, with some performing sign language, while others seize the opportunity to introduce Tzu Chi.
And everything was so organized and professionally done. You feel so welcome. And everybody was so sincere, so polite, proper manners. I'm going to take this bank and I'm going to gather as much donations as I possibly can and return to the organization.
And the medical doctors, like I say, no one gets paid and they give from their heart, and you receive much more by the people that receive services because they're very humble people. and the people that give with compassion and love.
The two-day large-scale free clinic saw over 2,600 patients without medical insurance receive the most needed healthcare service. The Toronto Tzu Chi Academy in Canada organizes a field trip to the local nursing home each year for its graduating students. At this year's event, volunteers took the 10 graduating students and others to put on a variety of performances. The students all agreed that seeing the smiles on the senior residents' faces was the best graduating gift of all. Giving the senior residents a massage and walking around to greet others, this is 9-year-old Liu Li's 5th visit to the nursing home. Not wanting to stand in the way of these elderly people, the girl even kneels on the floor to massage the senior's back.
Through seeing the less fortunate, she learns to count her blessings. By visiting other senior residents, she gets to think of her own grandparents and parents. So I think this lesson has been more practical than any other class.
A visit to the local nursing home prior to graduation has always been a tradition at the Toronto Tzu Chi Academy. Of the 10 graduating students this year, some put on sign language and martial arts performances, while others played music instruments.
Since I was little, I have always enjoyed these visits to the nursing home. Every time I come, I get to chat to the senior residents. Seeing them smile makes me happy too. And it is great that I get to do good deeds with my grandma and my mom.
The presence of the Tzu Chi volunteers and students always lighten up the atmosphere at the nursing home.
I know sometimes when I go all out, it looks really hilarious and it looks really weird. But when I do that, it's kind of and acting like a clown. And perhaps I am. But then when I do that, it's actually, I know that it brings a lot of joy to the seniors.
Okay, thank you. You must take good care of yourself. Every time we visit you, you always look really beautiful.
While bringing a smile to each of the seniors' faces, students at the Toronto Tzu Chi Academy are also gaining a valuable life lesson. At the Taiwanese businessman's Dongguan School in Guangdong, China, Tzu Chi volunteers regularly show up to teach the children Jingsi aphorisms. On their most recent visit, volunteers discussed the topic of cherishing blessings, and after seeing a video clip of the school conditions in Zimbabwe, students learned that they in fact enjoy blessings every day that other students can only dream of.
With their eyes covered, what was once a simple movement becomes a bit more difficult. Although the children assumed that every school was similar to theirs, they learned that in other parts of the world, like in Zimbabwe, that is not the case. For the children here at the Taiwanese businessman's Dongguan School, they had a hard time imagining going to school in such conditions.
One book, he will then say, I'll need a cover to go with it. Later then say, I'll need a bookmark, and then different kinds of pens. 1 or 2 weeks later, the pen is missing or is broken. He doesn't understand how to treasure what he has.
By learning not taking things for granted, these children are taking the first step to knowing what true contentment means.
Next in our series of feature reports on products made in Taiwan, we meet the owner of a towel factory, Chen Jingchi and Li Yue, who despite facing the tough competitions from abroad as well as the economic crisis in 2008, did not give up on their trade. The couple came up with a line of eco-friendly and non-dyed cotton towels that are not harmful to our environment and the human body.
Cutting the fabric into precise pieces, this staff member has been busy all day long. On the other side of the factory, a seamstress skillfully works the sewing machines. Inside this factory, among the colorful towels and machines, is a corner filled with non-dyed cotton towels. Without the use of dyeing, bleaching, or the adding of fluorescent agents, the manufacturing process of these non-dyed cotton towels not only differs from traditional methods, but also requires extra attentiveness.
The natural color for cotton varies depending on the place of origin. We need to use cotton produced by the same country and location, so the color of our products will be uniform.
This towel factory used to be one of the largest export companies in Taiwan. Its towels used to be found in Japan's hotels, beaches in the United States, as well as offering a wide range of kitchen and sports towels for consumers. However, facing competition from cheaper imports, profits have dropped.
People won't work with you when the price is too high. In 2008, our company suffered during economic crisis and lost a lot of money. My husband was under a lot of pressure then.
We have already switched from OEM to ODM, and if we can't increase sales from doing so, we need to find another way to make a profit.
Facing the aftershocks of the financial crisis of 2008, the glory of Taiwan's towel industry has slowly faded away.
When I asked my children if they wanted to work in the towel industry, no one said yes, and I was very shocked. I asked my husband if he thinks this job is too tiring because he has been working in it since young. His parents passed on this factory to us, so I asked him if he ever thought of passing on anything to our children.
Facing the decline of the towel industry, in order to survive, the couple decided to incorporate eco-friendly concepts into their products.
We need
to stop destroying the environment because we need to save the planet for the next generation. When dyeing fabrics, the amount of water and gas needed will be much more than when producing non-dyed fabrics. Non-dyed fabrics are definitely better than color-dyed fabrics for the environment.
At first, the market acceptance for these non-dyed cotton towels was very low. However, it did not stop the couple from continuing on. It has been 4 years since this factory started manufacturing non-dyed cotton towels. To date, the company has not reached a balance between profit and loss. However, its production are not being sold in one of Taiwan's most famous bookstores.
Before, not many people were aware of our brand, so we had to bring out samples for our clients to choose from.
To increase sales, employees of the factory have started visiting consumers door to door. In spite of the increase in workload, everyone says that the hardships have been worthwhile. With a change of mindset and a little courage, new hopes are being injected into this once flourishing traditional industry.
In Taiwan, Ms. Pan, who suffered a leg injury in a car accident 10 years ago, has had difficulty cleaning up her living environment. She sought help from Tzu Chi and was surprised when over 20 volunteers showed up at her doorstep, ready to give her home a proper clean-up.
This living room of this house is filled to the ceiling with curtains and the floor is littered with dog feces. The unsanitary living environment is long overdue for a cleaning. However, Ms. Pan, who lives here, has been unable to clean up the place on her own.
The ligament in my right knee is completely torn, so I have trouble bending my knee, on top of which there is a rodent infestation.
When Ms. Pan sought help from Tzu Chi, she only hoped for a few volunteers to help her move the unwanted items from the 4th floor to the ground floor. So she was surprised to find some 20 Tzu Chi volunteers turning up at her doorstep to help clean up her home.
We swept, mopped, and moved all the stuff around. From 8 in the morning until now, it's about 11, and we're finally finished.
In just one morning, the living room returned to its spaciousness, and the place is no longer cluttered.
I am very grateful. This was not what I originally pictured it to be. I thought perhaps there was going to be a couple of people here helping out, but it ended up to be a bunch of volunteers.
By reaching out to one more person in need, Tzu Chi volunteers are spreading love further.
We next travel to Malaysia to meet a care recipient who has been raising her 2 daughters on her own since her husband was sentenced to jail. The mother was faced with heavy financial burden when she became injured in an accident and was unable to work. Luckily, it was then that she found the contact number of Tzu Chi when volunteers previously provided tuition support to her elder daughter, that she was able to sought help from the Buddhist NGO.
When volunteers come visiting, they see that the infant milk formula is close to empty. In fact, in the past, this care recipient has had to beg from her neighbors to get by.
My oldest daughter is in school and I can't pay her tuition, and my younger daughter needs infant formula, but I can't afford that either. As I have no job now, I have to ask for help.
With her husband currently in prison, the 27-year-old mother has had to raise her 2 daughters alone. Although she had a steady job in a local market, an injury to her hand left her with no choice but to quit.
Sini sudah patah. Sini sudah patah. Sekarang sakit.
With a broken wrist, all the young mother can now do is wash clothes, a job that does not even cover the family's already limited expenditures.
A volunteer had already gone to visit the family, after which he left a contact number. Her older daughter is one of the applicants for our school scholarships. Then on the 14th, at around 11 p.m., the care recipient called this volunteer and told him that they had run out of food.
Volunteers quickly applied for an emergency subsidy around $32 US, after which they brought the young mother to a nearby grocery store to pick up supplies.
Of course, our volunteers could go buy the items themselves, but maybe the things they chose would not suit the eating habits of the family, so it would be a wasted trip. We need to know the things that she will usually buy, and for that, we need our volunteers to first accompany her shopping.
Happy tak? Happy juga. Kenapa? Sekarang ada banyak barang, mesti happy juga.
Thanks to such direct, focused, and pragmatic help, the family, once on the verge of starvation, now sees hope in the days ahead.
Also caring for the needy are Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia who have been helping 7-year-old Muhammad Alvendi, a sufferer of various mental disabilities. In an effort to assist Alvendi to recover from his condition, his parents have spent countless hours and money on finding a cure. Through relatives, Alvendi's parents met Tzu Chi, and today volunteers are providing financial support to the struggling family.
Having a great time jumping and laughing is 7-year-old Mohammed Alvendi. It's hard to tell from just looking at him, but he suffers from many disabilities.
My child has been diagnosed with autism. He has trouble understanding what you want him to do, and he also has hyperactivity disorder, where he just jumps around and can't calm down.
At his age, Alvendi does not understand the difficulty his parents go through in trying to save money for hospital fees. Fortunately, thanks to family members' introduction, Alvendi's parents met Tzu Chi.
Through home visitations, we can understand the child's condition and see what he needs, and see what improvements we can provide for the family.
With Tzu Chi by their side, the family can now breathe easy, as the concern and care of the volunteers is not only a source of support for the parents, but for Alvendi, it's like friends who have come calling.
The volunteers often call us to ask about my son and tell me if I need help to immediately call them. With Tzu Chi's assistance, I no longer feel so alone in raising my child.
For Alvendi's parents, like all parents in the world, joy comes from seeing their child healthy and happy, no matter how tiring it is to get there.
Staying right where we are, the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter regularly organize promotion events at the beginning of each month in hopes of introducing the Buddhist NGO to local communities and inspiring residents to join the volunteers' ranks.
Everyone's action seems to be a little out of sync. With the volunteers' guidance, participants soon get the hang of signing. At the beginning of each month, the Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter holds community events to recruit residents to join their ranks. An old hand at hosting events, volunteer Ernawati steps up to introduce Tzu Chi to participants.
Mungkin karena sudah beberapa kali.
I have had some hosting experience before. Recently, I have started to read Master Zheng Yan's publications, which are useful when hosting events such as these.
Most participants attending the event have in one way or another come to learn of Tzu Chi through recycling and street cleaning activities.
My friend has participated before. Sometimes I will attend too, but I haven't signed up to become a volunteer yet.
My wife and I are all willing to join Tzu Chi to help one another on the path of cultivation.
Whether it is walking the Tzu Chi path on their own or with a spouse, with added strength, Tzu Chi volunteers in Indonesia will be able to reach out to more desolated corners.
74-year-old recycling volunteer Lai Yue-ying from Kaohsiung, Taiwan, had a life of turmoil and hardship right up until she met Tzu Chi. After coming across many setbacks in life, Lai shut herself off from the rest of the world, and it was not until she started recycling that she came to a turning point in life. Let's take a look.
Hammering away dismantling recyclables, a smile appears from time to time. This is recycling volunteer Lai Yue-ying. Behind what may seem like a complete and fulfilling life lies a story of adversity and hardship.
My mouth was askew and my tongue couldn't reach the right side of my mouth, and I could only sway my hands in this motion, my legs as well.
As I said before, her husband did not take care of his family or provide for the household, and her son committed suicide because of the pile of debt he had accumulated.
The grief of a divorce and her son's suicide all took its toll on Grandma Yue-ying's physical and emotional state. It wasn't until her nephew and her granddaughter-in-law encouraged her to assist at a Tzu Chi recycling station that the senior finally had a way to walk away from her sorrows.
The brothers and sisters are good to me. That's why I can forget my pain. All I think about now is how to finish my task. This is my mentor. What I don't know, I always ask him.
At the recycling station, there is no task that Grandma Yue-ying cannot do. She smiles and says doing recycling is her daily source of inspiration.
We go to Guatemala in Central America at the end of today's program and join Tzu Chi volunteers in San Jose Panula as they visited a local daycare center to hand out daily necessities and biscuits. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.